Go ahead. You going? Okay. Sounds cool. I got it. My sermon, of course, is simple title, Go and Do. Key verse can be actually Luke chapter 10. We're winding up my series on this being a good neighbor. Before we get to that key verse, I want you to turn your Bibles with me to Mark chapter 12, verse 31. Rather than turn your Bible right side up, it will help. Mark 12. Mark chapter 12, verse 31. We're talking about the greatest commandment. I'm going to back it up actually one more verse too. I'm going to go 30 and 31 to really kind of set this for everybody. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. You know, we're talking about, be honest with ourselves, we love ourselves, don't we? There's a lot of people you see them on Facebook, they really love themselves, almost to the point of narcissism. All these self-beliefs, look at me, look at me, look at me. Let me say, we might abuse ourselves, smoking, whatever. But what the Bible's actually saying us in that is, we won't deny ourselves, will we? So why we should deny ourselves somebody else any love? Still trying to figure this thing out. Okay. We need to treat our neighbor with the same commitment, passion, determination, priority that we treat ourselves, shouldn't we? We should treat each other with that same priority and passion. Now, you've heard me talking about the 4 quadrants of neighbors, and if you weren't here, I'm going to go through them real quick. You got your neighborhood neighbors, your next door neighbors, your work neighbors, your co-workers. You also got your hobby neighbors, people you do your hobbies with, golf, sewing, whatever the hobbies you got, your neighbors you got with that. Also got your church neighbors, your church community. Now we need to be our next year's, our life mission should be, to put a face to these names that you know. Get to know your neighbor. If we really want to live this out, we got to put our name to this neighbor. We got to put a face to it. We got to go from stranger, the next step is associate, then you got fellowship neighbors, then you want to eventually have this person become your heavenly neighbor. You want to bring this neighbor to heaven with you. When we do that, I'm going to go to that Luke 10:31 here in a minute, 10:37 in a minute. But the first thing that's going to happen, when we know our neighbor, first thing that's going to start happening, we're going to start evangelizing. We're going to share our faith with our neighbor. I mean, it's a great faith. I mean, we got it. Jesus, great thing. You want to share it. You're not going to want to hoard it. If we don't reach out and share our faith, people aren't going to know Grandview Baptist exists. I'm going to know the church is there. Second one is fellowship. I mean, not just church on Sunday, but come in with each other. Go to visit somebody. I like making my Saturdays my visitation days to people. It's usually a good time to catch them because they're usually home. But you know, fellowship with somebody, spend a few minutes with them. It doesn't have to be crazy. And after the fellowship, you're going to start discipling. You're going to start growing in your faith. We need to grow in our faith. Become more Christ-like. You know, there's nothing quite like watching somebody that you lived in Christ grow. With that, of course, now we're talking about showing our love. And then when we talked about, we've been going through Luke chapter 10 about the Good Samaritan. And the guy getting robbed, and we've had they had some Christian people there. The priests who just kind of got discussing and walked on the other side. The Levite, which is like an elder, I guess, in the church, got discussed and walked to the other side. Along comes the Samaritan, which us know as a half-breed. They were the most discussed. People were discussing with. Jews didn't want nothing to do with it. They were half Jew and half Gentile. He stops. I mean, you got to remember, he got interrupted. He was on his way somewhere. Probably had a meeting to go to. Maybe he had somewhere else to be, but he stopped. He took the time. He got to be interrupted. That's one of the things I was talking about. To be a good neighbor, you got to be interruptible. You got to be willing to be interrupted. Don't live your life by a day plan, because you know what? Problems aren't going to be coming up on your day planner. Things are going to happen where you're going to have to make quick, abrupt, changes on your plan. The Marine Corps has this motto: improvise, adapt, and overcome. And as Christians, we got to live like Marines. And then it starts sounding like a drill instructor. Do I hear you? Do you understand me? And I'd start wearing a round brown up here. Stand the tune. Does everybody understand me? No, I don't want to be that type of pastor. I'm not going to be a drill sergeant. But we're going to be talking about agape love. The type of love, that's like an unconditional, no strings attached. This the Samaritan, he didn't do this out of guilt or networking. You scratch my, I scratch your back, and I'm expecting you to scratch mine. He just did it out of unconditional, intentional love. And when Jesus asked, now which one of these was a neighbor? He said, well, the one that showed mercy on this guy. Okay. He says, go and do likewise. And he dropped the mic and walked away. I hope I didn't mess it up. No. Good. So I think I just kind of got a little too excited by my sermon here, and I'm hoping I didn't mess it. I'll hear about it if I did. Over and over. He said, go and do likewise. Drop the mic. You know what? We got to start doing. Got to get up our rear ends and start doing. And show this agape love. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Now this was my mom's favorite chapter in the Bible. And my parents actually lived this chapter. Both my parents did. Now I've got this printed up here out of the Amplified Bible. So it's going to be little more. That really, the Amplified Bible really breaks this verse down. These verses of scriptures for us. Will really tell us what God's expecting of us. Starting to check in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, starting in verse 4. Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful. It is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag. It's not proud or arrogant. It is not rude. It's not self-seeking. It is not provoked, nor overly sensitive or easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. In other words, it doesn't keep score. Agape love does not keep score of somebody doing you wrong. Not only in a lot of problems. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth. When right and truth prevail. It bears all things, regardless of, in other words, regardless of what comes. It believes all things. It looks for the best in each one. And that's one thing my dad always taught me. Look for the good in people. He always looked for the good in people. I like to do that. There's always good in people. You know, you think people. The hopes was based on hopes, all things, you know, remain steadfast, during difficult times, endures all things without weakening. Love never fails, it never fades or ends. But as for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for gifts of special knowledge, they will pass away. We need to show this kind of love to all our people around here. All people. Our neighbors. Anyone out here is our neighbor. You may not know them, but they're your stranger neighbor. Be kind to them. You know what? People like to gossip around here, I notice. You got people that spread rumors in places. You know, to be a good neighbor to somebody, we need to show this kind of be a good neighbor to somebody that might be different or, you know, this is where you get into it. Jesus said, go likewise. Being a Christian is just, being a Christian, it's not just sitting in church listening to a sermon and going home and doing nothing. It's just, it's a call to action of sometimes having to deal with people who are uncomfortable with, you know, may not be comfortable being around. Joanna and I attended a church one time, and there was a lady that just flat out said that she has no compassion for somebody that's on welfare. She had this thing in her mind that they were all lazy, didn't just want handouts. Granted, there are people that abuse the system, and Joanna got some, I guess, some pretty bad. I was working graveyard shift, so I wasn't able to make it to church. But she brought some kids that came out of a welfare family, and I think Joanna was saying she got some god-awful looks from people. What is horrible is when you see a church preaching that, and then they don't live it. We have to live what we preach. You know, what God's calling us to do is to get out of the bleachers, get down on that playing field. We're wearing that uniform of a Christian. Get on that field and get it dirty. Get in the game. I used to play football when I was in high school. I was a tailback. I told the coach, I want to play. He said, get your tail back on that bench. And we have, thing is, you get in there, you get that, when you play that game, you're playing hard, you're going to get dirty. It's not going to be an easy. Nobody said being good neighbors is going to be easy. And to first become a good neighbor, we need to tear down some walls, don't we? And one of the biggest barriers we got is excuses. I think we all have a degree of some sort or another in excuse theology. I mean, some people hold doctorates or double doctorates in that. And I tell people, I'm not going to do it the way my drill instructor told me. I'm going to do the Baptist version of it. Excuses are like sweaty armpits. Everybody has them. They all stink. Okay? Let's get that part clear. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do what my drill instructor told me because I'd probably run out of here if I said it the way he did. Let's tear down that fence. Come on. When we start tearing down that fence, you know, before I get to this part here, I'm going to let you. I visited towns in the South, small towns, when I was younger. And if you go to some of those towns in the South, you'll notice there is no fences in between your neighbors. Your neighbors can walk on over there, sitting on your porch, everybody visit. You've got your good, close neighbors. Nowadays, everybody wants to lock their prison gates. They don't want to be a good neighbor. But you know, when we do this, we're going to start sharing things that are eternal. And we start getting it open up to neighbors. There's three things that are eternal. Eternal, not inter. Eternal. First thing is God. God is eternal. He is forever. He's going to be with us forever. What's nice about him? He's the same. The same God of Abraham, the same God of Isaac, is the same God today. He's going to be the same God years enough for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. He's going to be the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the same eternal God. Well, God's Word's eternal also, isn't it? You know, it's going to be spoken eternally in heaven. But here's the one thing I really want to hit on. People. People are eternal. I'm up here trying to get everybody to join me in heaven. How big is your guest list for heaven? How many people are you bringing with you? I tell you one thing, I don't want to have a chariot take me to heaven. I want to have the people I'm bringing, I want to have a whole freight, have a whole train coming up there. That big old train. Not the long black train that Josh Turner talks about. I want the Hallelujah Express. Oh man. I think I'm preaching better than you guys are amen to me. But we need to really start going out, invite people to church. Invite your friends. In fact, I tell kids, invite the enemy. Invite people they don't like. But guess what? They need Jesus too, don't they? Sometimes the people that actually didn't like before, they see a common thread, they see something about you differently. They're going to actually see that agape love, unconditional, no matter how bad they treat you. You know, times I've gotten, pardon the expression, I've gotten bit by trying to help people. I've gotten bit a few times. Sometimes people think, no, you don't learn, do you? No. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes people are going to take advantage of it. You know what? You got to be able to roll with it, so to speak. You got to use a little discernment, of course. You got to know if they're going to start using you. We've done it before. We've had to actually cut people off. Get back to the interrupted part, you know, you gotta be willing to be interrupted. Joanna shared something with me on Facebook, and I kind of used part of it, and I preached a little bit on it last week about being interrupted, being able to be interrupted. It's especially true for pastors, because we're on call 24/7. But, you know, of course, there are times that I haven't been able to do it, because when we've been out of town, you know, Joanna, I like to go to Lockwood once a year. If they call and I'm 300 miles away, it's kind of hard to do anything. You know, something like that. You know, that's a reason. There's a difference between reason and excuse. Valid reason is one thing, but coming up with an excuse, I don't know if I can do that. That's a lot of work. And that's just too much for me. You know, I'm busy. How many people, I've had people like that where I've helped them move. Like you help somebody move, they ask them, and all of a sudden got so many things going on, or they'll flake out on you at the last minute. Has anybody had that? I mean, I've had it. I think we've all had people bail on us at the last minute. Depressing, but still you show that kind of love to them, though. Even if they have to begin, then eventually you're going to start seeing something about it. Maybe you haven't accepted Christ. When we get to this, we're going to be having an invitation. If you haven't accepted Christ, maybe you have and want to rededicate or follow in baptism, I'm going to invite you to come up here and pray with me. If you have prayer requests, let's go ahead and get to doing her. So Mary, she's going to lead us in an invitation to Him, and we're going to have our community dinner afterwards.